So I want to talk a little bit about the anger iceberg before we get into the anger volcano. So according to psychologist Daniel Goleman, emotions are in essence impulses to act, the instant plans for handling life that evolution has instilled in us. In his book Emotional Intelligence, Goleman tells us that anger causes blood to flow to our hands, making it easy for us to strike an enemy or hold a weapon. Our heart rate speeds up, and a rush of hormones, including adrenaline, create a surge of energy strong enough to take vigorous action. In this way, anger has been ingrained into our brain to protect us. So, what is the purpose of anger? If you're unsure of why you're feeling angry, try thinking of anger like an iceberg. Most of an iceberg is hidden below the surface of the water. Similarly, when we're angry, there can be other emotions hidden beneath the surface. It's easy to see a person's anger, but it can be difficult to see the underlying feelings the anger is protecting. For example, Dave believed he had an anger problem. When his wife would make a request of him, he would criticize her. He didn't like his reactions, but he felt he couldn't help it. As he worked on discovering his dreams within conflict and started noticing the space between his anger and his actions, he opened up the door into a profound realization. He really didn't have an anger problem. Instead, he felt like his wife was placing impossible demands on him. By seeking to understand and accept his anger rather than fix or suppress it, he began to improve his marriage by recognizing his anger as a signal for a need to set healthy boundaries for what he would and would not do. Dave's story points out an important concept. As Reed David, author of Emotional Agility, says, our raw feelings can be the messengers we need to teach us things about ourselves and can prompt insight into important life decisions and direction. Her point is that anger can be symptomatic of another unexpressed emotion. So, looking at anger as a protector of raw feelings. According to Paul Ekman's research, anger is one of six basic emotions identified in the Atlas of Emotions, along with disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise. Anger is felt by everyone at one point or another and is completely valid as its own emotion. However, there are times when other emotions are spurring the anger, and we use anger to protect that raw feeling that lie beneath it. Underneath Dave's anger was pure exhaustion and a feeling that he wasn't good enough for his wife. So his anger was formed by that disappointment with himself and protected him from deeply painful shame. Learning to recognize anger as not only a basic valid emotion, but also as a protector of our raw feelings can be incredibly powerful. It can lead to healing conversations that allow couples as well as children and parents to understand each other better. So, 3 tips for listening to anger. One of the most difficult things about listening to a child or lover's anger, especially when it's directed at us, is that we become defensive. We want to fight back as our own anger boils to the surface. If this happens, we get in a heated verbal battle, which leaves both parties feeling misunderstood and hurt. Here are 3 powerful tips for listening to anger. 1, don't take it personally. Your partner or child's anger is usually not about you, it's about their feelings. To not take someone else's anger personally requires a high level of emotional intelligence. One of the ways in which you can do this is to become more curious about why they're angry. It's much easier to become defensive, but I found thinking, wow, this person is angry, why is that? Leads me on a journey to discover the dreams or feelings within the anger. And this brings us closer together. 2, don't ever tell your partner to calm down. When I've read a lot about couples and one of the partners getting angry, I have witnessed the other partner saying, calm down or you're overreacting. This communicates to the recipient that their feelings don't matter and are not acceptable. The goal here is not to change or fix your partner's emotions, but rather to stand on their anger iceberg with them, unless, of course, their anger is harmful or destructive to your well being. Communicate that you understand and accept their feelings. When you do this well, your partner's anger will subside. Not to mention, they will feel heard, which builds trust over time. Maybe you grew up in a family where anger wasn't allowed, so when your partner expresses it, it feels paralyzing and you freeze. Or you may try to solve their anger for them because their anger scares you. Open yourself up to experiencing everyone's full spectrum of emotion. Third thing, identify the obstacle. Anger is often caused by an obstacle blocking a goal. For example, if your partner's goal is to feel special on their birthday and their family member missing their special day makes them angry, identify the obstacle will give you insight into why they're angry. The bottom line is that beneath everyone's anger lies a reason. Although it's a valid emotion on its own, remember that anger can also indicate other emotions that need to be addressed or validated.